Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Max, and today I'm doing my first Cyberzoic review. This is a side series or second series to Beast of the Mesozoic, other than Beast of the Cenozoic, which is basically the same, but this is a whole lot different. This is, and my first figure is the Allosaurus Jimmadseni from the Tech Clone. You can see which unit it's part of. I won't be getting any of the armor or anything because I am here for the dinosaur, because that's the most important part to me. You can see up here the Cyberzoic logo, Past and Future Collide, ages 15 up, and the Tech Clan logo. On the side, Tech Clan logo, the box art of the Allosaurus. On the top you can see a window down into the figure, which is how the lighting actually looks so good in the box. On the bottom you have, it's now orange unlike the other one, and it now has the Tech logo as well as everyone who sculpted it or worked on it. I'm not sure how that came out. And then on the back you can see the Allosaurus as a figure. It's some stats about it, what the figure includes, as well as the Dragon Slayer armor and Argentius, as well as the box art of all of the figures included, as well as a Cyberzoic logo. So yeah, I'm going to unbox this, and I will be right back. And here is the Allosaurus out of the box, and it is a really, really nice figure. Like, it's just really impressive how well this thing is sculpted, how well it poses, and just everything. Also, apologies if I don't sound the best. I'm a bit sick. So it's obviously based off Allosaurus Jimmadseni, okay, which is the same specimen as Big Owl, or the same species as Big Owl is, which is really cool. But everyone knows what Allosaurus is. So before we get into the actual figure review, let's just go over the card, which features the same art as was on the box. It does look quite nice. A lot less Cyberzoic-esque than some of the other cards for the series, other than the glowing plants, which probably didn't exist. And on the back you can see Allosaurus, the information once again, the Tech Clan, as well as part of the Zoic card game, which its ability is King of the Jurassic, which makes sense because it was, for the most part, because it's the main thing we find in the Jurassic, and it is a large theropod. But not the largest, because Torvosaurus does exist, and sauropods aren't generally carnivores. So probably like one of the largest. And for the sauropod thing, that's because Saurophaganax, and it being sauropod now, well, part of it. Also, quickly going over accessories: walking feet and lifted feet, which are all really well sculpted and painted. You can see painted claws, which is rare with some other companies, as well as paint on the scutes or whatever you want to call them, along the feet and toes. So now let's actually take a look at Allosaurus here, because that's what you're all really here for. I'm just going to get it into a more neutral standing pose if the legs want to move again, which is the only part I've really had a bit of trouble with in terms of articulation. Everything else works really well. So looking at the head, you can see that it's just really well detailed and sculpted for something of this size. Which you can see, its head is the size of the palm of my hand. So, really impressive how much detail they've got into this thing. Like you can see, the eye has a gloss coat and it's bright yellow, so it stands out from everything. I really like the crest. I'm not sure why, but I just think that it looks amazing. And also, of course, the mouth opens. There is a way to open it further, which is you need to get it down into the neck joint, which I just did, which allows you to get a really wide open mouth, and the inside of the mouth really well sculpted once again. Articulated tongue as well. I'm not sure if that is on my other somewhat large carnivore, because I don't think the Deinonychus would ever be able to do this. And you'll know which one that is in the comparison. And then moving down to the neck, you can see that the red from the crest and along the nasal ridge, it continues down along the back for quite a bit before dispersing at the tail. But you can see here the neck is really impressively sculpted, and the articulation here is really, really good. Like that middle neck piece, for some reason on mine it is just insane in terms of its movement. Like a majority of this posability is just that middle neck joint on mine. I'm not sure if that's meant to be how it works, but that is how it works for mine, at least. But anyway, that's really impressive. And you can see here along the side, the pattern changes a bit. You can see a lot less of the grey from the face and more browns and a light tan here. The arms are a lot larger than most people think dinosaur arms would be, but this is Allosaurus, so it does have quite well developed arms. And the posability on the arms is pretty good. You can probably get it to hit something if you want to, or pose it like it's about to hit something. So really good posability there. The torso moves quite well. I haven't really had the time to warm up all the joints yet. I've only had this thing for, and the tail popped out again. I probably heated it up a bit too much to get it in, but I just did that because I didn't want to damage this figure. And then moving down, you can see leg detail is really good. The posability at the hip joint is good, as you would expect. You can go around 270 degrees ish, which you will never need to do, like reasonably. You don't want to do that because it just looks bad. The knee articulation, one of the other places that is relatively tight, and I don't really want to force it. And going down the ankle joint here, quite good, a bit ratchety, and the feet are swivelly, or they're on a swivel joint, and move well, and that's around as much articulation as you really need out of them. And then going down to the tail, you can see that the brown actually takes up most of the colour on top here, which is quite different and quite unique. But of course you get a ball joint at the base of the tail, and then it continues, a lot of the same detail. Then you get to the last third of the tail, that's longer than a third, but where the third segment is, and you have the bendy wile, and at the end of the tail it is striped. So overall, a really, really well detailed figure, really well posable, and I love it. So yeah, I'll go into comparisons now. And here is the first comparison with the Allosaurus next to Dr. Alan Grant, who's a 1/18th scale figure. So this is around the size Allosaurus would be next to a human, as well as the beast of the Mesozoic Deinonychus, which is my most recent figure other than this guy. And you can see just how big the Allosaurus is. And you'll see that it really is just my largest figure in the next comparison. And here you have it next to the Bistihieversor, which is my only Tyrannosaur series figure, and it just dwarfs it, like, in terms of length, and the Allosaurus is a lot more posed currently than the Bistihieversor, which I have in a neutral position. Both of them are, of course, posable, as I do like posable figures the most, as you can probably tell. So you can see just how massive this Allosaurus really is. And this Bistihieversor, of course, is not a small figure by any stretch of the imagination. And here you have it next to the Pentaceratops, which I have placed slightly behind it because the Pentaceratops has an enormous frill that would cover, like, part of the Allosaurus, which wouldn't be ideal. And you can see that it is, like, a reasonable amount larger than the Pentaceratops in terms of length. Not really height in this position. You could get it taller than the Pentaceratops, but these are posable figures, so that's kind of hard. The Penta is, of course, bulkier than the Allosaurus, but the Allosaurus is really, really large for a theropod, or at least for the ones I own. I may get the Acro at some point when that releases. I don't think I'll be getting I'll be getting the Utah Raptor, which will be around a similar size to the Bistar, or at least I hope I will be getting the Utah Raptor, and So yeah, this is also the Stegosaurus, which that'll look really good next to this guy, who is an amazing figure on its own, but it'll look a lot better next to something that it can prey on, like the Stegosaurus, or maybe the Ceratosaurus, but I like Ceratosaurus, so I won't be posing it, attacking that when I get it, unless I do it with the Hammond Collection one, which I'll just grab real quick, just because I mentioned it and it was close enough by that I can show it, and you can see there's just so much of a difference between the Beasts of the Mesozoic and Hammond Collection, and of course the Ceratosaurus is Hammond Collection, the BOTM Cerato isn't out yet, and I can't wait to see what they do with that because I love Ceratosaurus. But so anyway, thank you all for listening. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.